Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Please forgive us for the last two videos. We are rookies in this game. We recorded vertical instead of horizontal, but we are aware of that mistake now. So today we're going to be covering why testing is important, especially testing one variable at a time in the beginning stages of your testing phases. So a common mistake that we see when we have conversation with founders is they're testing too many variables, or sometimes they're not even testing at all. And testing is very, very important because this lets you know what's working and what's not working. And the reason why we like to put so much emphasis on focus on one variable at a time is because, like I just said, you need to focus on what's working and what's not working. However, if you have multiple variables, you're not gonna know if it's your audience that's working well, if it's your creatives, if it's your ad copy, your call to action, etc. So it's very important for you to test one variable at a time.
Absolutely. And I also think that in terms of the testing,
Yeah.
When you go to doing your ads or when you're trying to paint your customer avatar based on the data, if it's not accurate, you're probably going to be targeting the wrong people. The great thing about ads and testing is that you could, by numbers and by what the data is telling you,
Yeah.
you could maybe identify a new audience that you never really thought about, but you will never discover if you're not testing. So the last thing you want to be doing is putting ads out there, putting money out there. You don't get the results that you want, and that's money still gone. So testing is very important because of the fact that you'll be able to strategize better, especially when it goes to scaling.
Yeah. Just think of it like this. Let's say you're a clothing brand, you want to get your clothes manufactured. You're not going to just go to one manufacturer. You're going to test a few to get the price, the best price, the best clothing, etc. Think of that exactly as your marketing.
So the thing about testing is that it kills assumption and it also kills your ego, because most of the times we may be creating the best ever video, the best ever graphic, and we think, yeah, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the one that's gonna generate me the 100K. But if you get attached too much to what you're doing rather than what your data is telling you, you're actually going to fail more often than not.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your ego is out of the way and you're relying on cold and hard data.
So yeah, just carried on what Ristal just said about not getting attached to creators. We've had countless of conversation with founders, and a lot of them are very attached to the creatives, or when we do work with them, they're attached to it, and so they could spend so much on a shoot. We can test multiple creatives, and obviously, but they want us to focus on this one. But then let's say after that 7 days of testing, 5 days of testing, we can see that the data is not actually going to this one. It's actually going to create that we didn't think was going to work, which is why Russell said you need to not get attached to it, and you also need to just remove your ego and then focus on what the data is actually telling you.
So Dom, let me ask you a question. What do we usually do when we start running campaigns?
Yeah, so usually we like to, like we said before, focus on one variable at a time, and this variable is usually our creatives. So we like to test creatives first, test ugly creatives, test paid creatives, and the reason why we do this is because creators essentially is what's going to make you the most amount of money. It's not going to be your audiences. I'm not saying the audiences are not going to make you money, which because they definitely are, but the creators are the most important, especially now in this day and age where people are hooked to their screens. So you need to hook them with your creatives. So as I mentioned before, test paid creatives, test ugly creatives, because a lot of the time the ugly creatives is actually what's going to perform better for you than your paid shoots. Now, if you don't know what ugly creatives is, these are the sort of content that maybe your customer has taken for you, sent you a review in the DMs, UGC content. So just utilize this because your customers are already helping you. So Rastal, can you tell the audience what we do when we've kind of found winning creatives or our ads are just performing a little bit better on these?
So what we like to do is actually continue testing. It's always ongoing, it never stops. And one of the common questions that we get, especially when we get on calls, etc., how long you guys are going to be testing? Because people have this misconception that it's only going to be for a short period of time. But what we actually like to do, going back to your question, was taking our winning creatives and testing them against each other, so we can actually perfect what we put in out there and create more of it as well. So for us, it's massively important to be able to do that, because then it gives us our creative pattern. And it could be maybe ugly videos like Dom was mentioning earlier. People like to see the raw stuff. At this moment of time, I think social media has become a bit synthetic as well. So people need to see that your brand is real, but then also your customers are real. So it's a way to connect with them well, and it's actually seems to be working for a lot of brands as well. So don't be shy. Don't think that you need to have this perfect thing going on.
Also, when we say as well that we test our creatives against each other, so yeah, we'll pull in our winning creatives, but then also the winning creatives, we can also change the angle. So are we going to start with a different hook? Are we going to change, a line? Are we going to call the call to action? Are we going to have the call to action in the start of the video this time.
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to have different sort of iterations when it comes to your creatives, because you never want to just focus on a few in the creatives. You want to make sure that you have a lot, so you can actually start scaling to 100k a month, 300k a month, wherever your goal is. You just want to make sure that you have the right systems in place for you to actually get there.
Guys, based on what was discussed today, what you guys gonna do different when it comes to your creative pattern, when it comes to your creative testing, etc. Let us know in the comments. We want to know, because essentially this is not just for you to hear, but it's also for you to implement.
Yeah. So thank you for watching the video. Drop a 1 in the comments so we can know if you actually stayed to the end of the video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video.
God bless us.